Welcome to the Fleet Geeks Podcast. We're here to help develop fleet and transport professionals. Do you want to progress and develop your skills and knowledge? We promise to bring lively conversation and debate around interesting issues and keep you bang up to date with changes in our awesome industry. The Fleet Geeks are a community of professionals, and if you enjoy the podcast, why not join the discussion for free in the Fleet Geek community over on Facebook?
Hi, how are you doing today? My name's Pete Rushman, and I wanted to share a little bit more about the motivational maps and how they work. So there are 9 key motivation preferences that everybody has. There's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong motivators, there's no preferences for any of the motivators. There isn't anything that's good or bad there. They are just what they are. So there are 9 of them, and interestingly, we are all 9 motivators. Everybody is all 9 motivators. They're just human motivations. Does that make sense? So everyone has all 9 of them. It's just that they have different preferences. So when you do a motivational map, you get a sliding scale, like a bar chart, that shows you the 9 different motivators and what is the topmost preferences for you. So some people might have 1 that really stands out, or they might have 2 or 3 that really stands out. And some people are very level across all of them. But that's very, very rare. Generally speaking, most people have 1 or 2 real key preferences when they carry out the survey. And I can really work with them to help them understand what they are. So one of the things to consider when you look at the different motivational preferences, it's really, really important to actually realize there isn't a good or bad one. There isn't anything. They just are what they are. They are what your preferences are. So sometimes people can get caught up with what the right motivators are for them and that kind of thing, or what will make them look good to other people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because there are really, really competent people who have got all of them as their top motivators. What's most important is actually they then utilize that in the work that they do. So the other thing to remember is some people get caught up with the colors as well, and the colors aren't linked to DISC. So anyone that's done DISC or insights or anything like that where the colors mean something, the colors here really don't mean anything at all. The colors are just there to help you differentiate the different clusters. So there's no link to DISC with that either. So certainly the blue growth motivators have got no link to blue when it comes to insights or DISCs, and red has no link to red, and green has no link to green either. So there should be no bias based on the colors either. They're ultimately no right or wrong answers. They are what they are, and the colors are essentially linked to the cluster for what they mean. So the 3 colors, green, red, and blue, come from the clusters. Okay, so the green cluster is a relationship focus. So people are motivated within these green ones by relationships, and then the red ones is achievement focus. So this is about achieving the best we can with what we have at a given time, and they're the red focused ones. And finally, you've got the blue, which is the growth clusters, and each of those clusters have got 3 motivators within them. And interestingly, you're not one of the colors either, because I've done lots of maps, and some people have got their top 3 preferences is 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 green, for example. So there's no real link between the colors and preferences either. So it's important to realize that as well, that actually our top preferences could be across all the 3 different clusters. Okay. Some people might have all blue top, they might have all red, they may have all green, or they might have 1 or 2 of each of them. Okay, so that's the other thing to think about. So what are the 9 motivators, I hear you ask? Well, the green relationship motivators, the first one is to think about is friend. Okay, so people who value friend as one of their motivators, they're nourished by the relationships they have at work. They are nourished by the network that they build, the people they have around them. They care about people. They care about harmony. They care about people getting along. They won't like conflict. And they go to work because their friends are there. These are lovely people to work with who really value friendship and really value the things that are important to them. And actually, that's a big motivation for them. Okay, So that's the friend motivator. Next is the defender. Okay, that's the next green defender motivator, which is relationship focused. So the defender seeks security, stability. They like the status quo. They like things as they are. They will go to, usually defenders don't really like to change jobs too much.
Hi, it's Pete from Flagship Partners. Let me ask you something. How confident are you that the right version of your policies, procedures, and any compliance documents are actually being used right now? Because if your answer is fairly confident, that's not confidence, it's hope. At Flagship, our digital services, we help fleet operators move from folders, chaos, and crossed fingers to clarity, control, and confidence. Our platform, Optifile, is built specifically for fleets like yours. One source of truth, full version control, and clear accountability, and a simple way to prove your people have seen, understood, and signed the right documents every single time. No more, which version is this? No more, I think that's updated, and no more sleepless nights before an audit. If you're serious about running a safer, greener, greater fleet, it starts with getting your foundations right. Head to Flagship Partners and discover how, through our digital services like Optifile, we can tidy up the mess, reduce risk, and give you your time back. Because compliance shouldn't be a dark art, it should be crystal clear.
They might not move companies, or they might rarely move roles because they like the status quo. They like they've got a preference for the comfort of what they know and the role they work in. But these are fantastic people to work with because they end up being very knowledgeable. They value the status quo. They don't easily sway. They are a vital part of any working organisation. So that's the defender, and defenders are really, really common preference for people. It's very, very valuable to an organisation because people come and they stay. The next one is the star. So the star is about being recognised for the contribution an individual brings. So if someone's got a high star preference, it's usually that they like to have feedback about how good and how much of an impact that they've had on the work that's being carried out. I've worked with many stars before, and I've done motivational maps for stars. These are people who are often very competitive. They like to win awards. They like to be recognised for the impact that they have with people. Okay, they're the three relationship motivators: friend, defender, star. Next up is the red achievement motivators. So we'll start with builder. So the builder seeks commercial and monetary satisfaction. They value an above average style of living. Okay, so generally speaking, builders, it's important to them what they get paid. It's important to them about what car they drive, the clothes they wear, those kinds of things. So they value that commercial element and the financial impact of the work they do. Okay, so that's the builder. And then you've got, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do come to work. In fact, I'll go and do a motivational maps with teams of people. And before I've done the map, I'll go, what motivates you? And everyone says money. And the reality is that the builder or the money motivator is one of the 9. And for some people, it's a preference. And for some people, it's less important or comes a lower position to other ones. The next is the director. The director likes power, control, and influence. They like to be in charge. These directors make great managers. They make great company directors, operations directors, sales directors, MDs. Directors like to be in control. They like to make decisions, and they like to have influence over other people, the resources, and just making decisions about where money's spent and where investment is made, and those kinds of things. They seek out control and power. And again, there's nothing wrong with that at all. We need directors in organizations. We need people who are willing to take charge and do those things. The third achievement, red motivator, is expert. Experts are very technical. They're analytical. They like to be valued for the knowledge that they bring to a business. They often work in specialized industries, and they like to be recognized for the value that their intelligence and knowledge of certain subject matters are brought to them. You often find that they focus heavily on their craft, whatever that may be, whether they're an engineer, whether they're a salesperson. If they work in a technical environment, they want to know the details, what's the ins and outs of the things that are going on around them, and they really value contributing that knowledge to other people. These people are often the go-to source or font of all knowledge when it comes to a certain specified area. So that's the expert. Next, we've got the blue growth motivators. Okay, so the first one there, we've got spirit. Okay, spirits value freedom and autonomy. They like to be on their own agenda. They like to do things when they do things. They might turn up late for things. They might, time and space is important to them. So they like to have freedom. They like to have autonomy. They like to make decisions for themselves. They don't like to be micromanaged, and they sort of really value being on their own agenda and having their own agenda and doing their own thing and having their own space and time to do that. Next up is the creator. So the creator is motivation where people like to be innovative. They like to come up with new ideas. They like to challenge the norm, challenge the status quo. They like to think of new and inventive ways of doing things. They create new products. They design focus. They like to come up with new ideas and challenge the status quo, to come up with new solutions for old problems. That's the creator. Okay. Creators love starting new projects. They love being involved in innovation and new things. And then the final one is the searcher. The searcher is about the meaning and purpose. It's about what someone gets from work and the impact that they have on those around them and other people, or the impact that their work has on potentially the customer, it could be. And searchers like feedback. They like to know that the work they're doing is fantastic. They like to know that they're doing a good job. And when it comes to a searcher, it's all about the meaning and purpose behind the work that they do. They actively seek out things that make them feel good because they feel like they're making a contribution to things. Okay, so those are the 9 motivators, and hopefully one or two of them probably resonated with you, so you can think, well, this is important and this is probably also important to me. If you've got any questions, please let me know. But if you do want to do a survey, get in touch, and I'll be able to help with that. But for now, I hope this video is really useful and has helped explain those 9 motivators, as well as the 3 clusters and colours within which they all sit. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please share with your friends and colleagues too. Join us for free on Facebook with the Fleet Geeks community for transport and fleet managers. Fleet Geeks offers ongoing professional development, networking and mentoring too. So get in touch with me, Pete Rushmer, on any social media platform to find out more.